Alright, what's going on, traders? Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be going over my live trading session. And before that, we're going to go over my pre-market analysis. An analysis I had of the stock I was going to trade today, along with a thesis on what I was looking for to happen. And then we're going to get into my live trades where I'm going to show my where I executed, where I got in, where I got out, mistakes I made, and the ideas I had, while trading. So let's get into it. So, uh, let's see. Oops. All right. Okay. Okay. So as you guys can see on my screen, I have. Oops. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So as you guys can see on my screen, I have SPY trading in a healthy uptrend. Previous areas of resistance is acting as a new support, great potential to the upside. And then I also noted on the contrary, if SPY breaks down, target would be 679. So I want to show something real quick. So I'll draw this out with you guys really quick. Right, so one thing we can see here is we had this area of, let's say, supply, an area in which supply exceeds demand, right? Area of resistance, right? We have an area in which the stock is being supported, and so I want to show this. I'm gonna make this a little thicker. We had a push down, right? We had a higher push up, a lower push down, and then a push in a continuation to the upside, right? So today, what I was looking at is here, after this move had happened, we had its push down, its higher push up, its push down, and then a higher push up, you know? And then look, this is an area of consolidation before it continued its upside move, and then it was having an area of consolidation, you know? So I was looking to see if history was going to repeat itself in this instance, today, you know, if we were going to, if this area right here was going to be supported, and then, maybe possible continuation to the upside, or what would happen if we possibly have a move up, or whatever the case may be, and then maybe a continuation to the downside. So pretty much we wanted to see how buyers and sellers would interact at these levels that I have drawn out, right? And looking to see who would be more of the aggressive participants, and then looking to trade on the either side. Um, so let's get into a closer look. We have an area that is being supported pre-market, and an area that's being rejected pre-market, and a higher area of rejection. So this was like the pre-market highs. This was a lower, a lower area of support, an area of supply, and then its lower area of resistance. So pre-market, this was trending down, right? But it was holding above this area of support, this 683, pretty much 684 level, I'd say. Right, so let's get into the trade. So that what I was looking at today. Let's get into the live trading session. So pre-market, as I was noting, we had our area of support, right? Our area of rejections, and one thing about today is immediately I could tell it was kind of like there was uncertainty in this level. From the beginning of the day, I knew, based off of like an intuition, intuitively, I knew that I couldn't really get a grasp of the market. I couldn't really build, a thesis that I was confident in and willing to put on risk, not too much risk. So, I'm just looking to be patient, see exactly what the market is showing for. You can see the market right here on this left side. This is an option contract on the right. And I'm trying to see it had its first period of consolidation. It was holding this area of support, broke down, and then I was looking for a put in this area, a break and retest. Pretty much, I want to see a continuation of this downside momentum, you know, to possibly catch a short. But instead, it had broke out, right? So then that pretty much invalidated my thesis for this possible trade that I was looking at. Um, it wasn't really, it was just an idea. It had not yet became something that I was actually willing to put on risk or willing to take. But if I did see a rejection of this level, this pre-market support and acting as a resistance, I did want to see a continuation of this downside momentum, this downside aggression, right? So then we start to get, we got a rejection, we got a push down, and then a push higher. So at this point, I'm like, okay, this is pretty choppy, but I would want to take on some risk. I was planning on going half size on the first trade that I decided on taking. We see that pretty much what ends up happening is, it created this lower support level, and then it had a strong continuation to the upside, now targeting its pre-market areas of resistance with a huge candle to the downside. Pretty much, I was looking to take a long trade here. It happened too quick, it didn't really give me an entry. And what I mean by an entry, it didn't give me a level in which I can, dictate where buyers are, let's say, passively looking to purchase this stock. Um, so I couldn't dictate whether, I mean, I would have never known if it was just gonna keep going down. But yeah, I wasn't able to pretty much see what was going on here. I was looking for a long, yeah, as you guys can see, I was looking for a call. Just looking to be patient, I'm noticing pretty much that this is getting bought up, pulling back, getting bought up, pulling back. So what I want to do is not buy on the pushes up, but I would want to buy on the push, the pullbacks, right? I want to put myself in that position where I'm not buying at the top, where I'm buying, where it pulls back and it has like, a little breather. So I end up taking a trade somewhere. So pretty much I see an area of consolidation. Oh, okay. This was my first, trade idea, like real trade idea. So look, I got my contracts open. What I want to see is a pullback, right? Like I was stating, and then a continuation higher, right? Um, I couldn't really dictate this. You see, I got my finger on the trigger. I wanted to get it more close to where it had pulled back. It ended up moving too fast for me. It didn't really give me a time to enter, and I didn't want to enter on its way down without any confirmation. So it ends up, if I'm not mistaken, it goes without me, right? Goes without me, pushes to the high. That was a pretty nice trade, but at the same time, like I said, I don't want to buy on these highs. I don't want to buy on this area in which, it's being rejected because of the type of moves it's having. It's having a move up, an aggressive move down. I don't want to have it when it's having its aggressive move up, with the possibility of it coming back to these areas, this kind of white line that I have, right? So it pulled back like 50% of the way. Didn't give me an entry. I don't want to buy on the highs. I wasn't comfortable buying at the highs at this moment, so I didn't look to take on risk, right? So that trade I end up not taking, right? I missed out on. I don't want to chase it and I don't want to purchase higher prices, right? I'm not comfortable with that. In this instance, it would have worked out, but based off of what the market is showing me, I don't want to buy highs. So I end up purchasing this stock. Um, This would have been a nice trade as well, but it once again it didn't give me like a real, real chance to purchase it. As you guys can see, I had my level drawn out. This is an area of resistance. It has its aggressive push up. Looking to purchase this. Once again, I have my call option open, and I pretty much want to see that buyer step into this area, for a possible bounce. But like I said, look, if you guys can see, it just pushes down and gives it no room for a re-entry. It doesn't even wait. So I don't chase it. If I'm not getting in, where my thesis tells me to. Like if I get in here, I know my invalidation point would be under, right? If I get in here and then it has room to pull back down here, but my risk is only at the bottom of this candle, or less, it completely messes up my risk to reward, and it's something I wouldn't want to take. I wouldn't want to put risk on the table. So if I'm not getting in this area in which I think is considered a good price, you know, it completely messes up my thesis. It's something. If I don't get in here, I don't want to take it. If, like, for an example, if I wasn't able to get it, at least in an area which it gave me time to confirm the trade. As you guys see, it just came down extremely fast, came up, came down really fast, came up. Didn't really give me a time you know, to execute. So I don't want to chase. I don't want to chase. So I see a pullback. And what I'm noticing is right here, it's coming back into this area in which it had been supported, right? Once again, I don't want to buy the highs. I want to buy where it pulls back. So at this point, it's had two pushes up, two push up, right? It created a higher low, a higher high, higher low, higher high. I want to look to get into the stock with, with putting the probability in my favor. I'm trading with the trend. I'm buying its pullbacks. And right here, I'm looking to enter based off of an area in which it has been supported previously with an invalidation point under. If it does break under, I would be looking to get out this trade. So I'm liking how this is looking. It pushes down, it's pushing up, and then yeah, so it starts pushing up. I like the way this is looking. I like the way this is looking. My invalidation point would be under this candle because if it continues to the downside, it let me know that sellers are in control. And in this instant, I'm going half for it. Oh, okay. So I think I do end up going in. I end up taking it here. Yeah, so this is when I do decide on taking the trade. Um, This was I think a much better trade because I did let it consolidate in this area. Buyers were telling me it was being supported. We have a nice buying volume right here with some die down on selling volume. So I want to see pretty much this area continue to be supported. Buyers taking up this move and seeing how it would, how it would react to this level with an invalidation point underneath this point. This instant I was taking half risk. With the choppiness in this stock, I didn't feel comfortable taking on my full risk, so I went half, right? If I'm able to if I'm able to be correct on the move, I would be looking to take on, put my other half of the risk. But so I got off with a half loss, if it was to push up and continue the move. I'd be looking to add that extra share, right? Which you know, it ended up not happening. Well, yeah. So I pretty much, I think I got the area right. Like the idea was right. It was just the timing. The timing was off, and that could have a lot to do with that can have a lot to do with it being a choppy market, it being choppy and me noticing that and not feeling the full confidence of taking on full risk. I think it was a good idea. It was a good idea in the sense that I didn't take on, my full risk, knowing how choppy this was. So I got out when it invalidated my thesis, right? And it got purchased up. So I'm just taking that into consideration and looking to see if we can have a continuation and probably a re-entry of the move, right? So I take on the risk again. So here I'm seeing what I like about this. It trend down. It broke out, right? It's breaking out. It's pulling back into this area again. I don't mind a re-entry at this point. I want to put myself in the, where buyers are stepping in. I want to put myself where the buyers are stepping in, and probably let's say I just got out for I was right about the idea was correct or the direction was correct, but maybe it was just the timing. So I want to take a re-entry. This was about 10:17. Okay, so about 10:17. I got into this stock. Immediately started getting a push up, and so pretty much knowing this is choppy, I want to conserve. I want to conserve. So I immediately start moving my stop loss up. We're immediately in money. Um, so looking to conserve, see if this gives me a push. I want to see how this area reacts. If buyers are stepping in, I want buyers to step in and stay strong. I don't mind the choppiness. I just want to see it. I'm gonna let it pull back. I'm gonna let it move around. I just want to see this area in which I purchased it to be validated. I want it to, it continue to the upside. So pretty much, I want to be, if I'm having this uptrend, this slight uptrend, a pullback would be completely normal. But I want to first see an aggressive push to the upside. So we're just looking to be patient, looking to be patient. Um, so we're up on the stock. Now I'm gonna adjust my profit target, but I want to stick to my plan. I want to stick to my plan, right? So we're having pretty much right here. I'm up my 1.5 to 1. So I'm up my 1.5 to 1. And pretty much, if buyers are stepping in, I want to see a continuation of this move. I can stop this anywhere. You can see buyers are more aggressive than sellers. Pretty much, I just want to give this, give it some slack, you know, to possibly get into this range and then target the highs. That would be the idea, right? So we get a push down, push down. Mind you, at this point, I was already break even. It wasn't able to push higher. It wasn't able to push higher at that moment. And then I think yeah, it ends up just chopping around. But what I want to show, what I was looking at, I wasn't only looking at this book map. So this is about a 1017, right? 1017. So that first trade that I took, oh, this might have been the second trade. Yeah, so I got into this stock on right here. I got into this stock, okay, so this is my first trade right here. My first trade was right here, and my second trade was right here. Let me show exactly. Let's compare this side by side. Because this is very important on why I took this trade, right? So I took this trade about 10:17. Yeah, so I took it right here. I took it right here, correct? So I took it about here, looking at this breakout area. So this first trade right here, which you guys see this consolidation, this you see it's 10:10. So 10:10, this is what I was looking at exactly on this candle when it had pulled back into this area. And then it started being supported. As you guys can see, there's a passive buyer, looking to purchase this. And so that gave me enough, let's say, confirmation to get in with this buyer. So I bought it, and then they ended up breaking it down. It broke down, and it found a lower support level. So this lower support level was here. So it comes down, touches it, comes down, touches it, comes up, touches it again. So it comes down, touches it again, comes down, touches it, goes up, touches it, right? And so it got bought by this candle right here. And this is where I got in for my second trade, 10:17, right? 10:17 I purchased it here. 10:17 was right here. So I got in around this area, right? I had my invalidation point underneath. I had its push to the upside, came back, pulled back, and touched my break even, right? It wasn't able to have that continuation of the move. With the option premium, it looks a little different, but just we can take these two into consideration. So it started chopping around, right, like it did here, and then it ended up breaking down, which it broke down here, came and touched this support area and got bounced. So you guys can see this area it's a much darker red. That means more passive buying volume was here. At this moment, I didn't see this trade, but these were the two that I tried. So I tried this one where passive buyers were buying it here, right? And it ended up breaking down, getting me out. And then I got into it a second time, with with the move up. Um, so I got into it. Oh, okay, so it was here. 10:17 is right here. So I got into this area, right? I got into when it came back and touched it. So it's right here. So I came into this area, right? I purchased it, and then it came back and stopped me out. So it was pushing to the upside, if you guys remember, and then it pulled back and stopped me out. So then what